Right.
It's really hard to figure out who owns the customer. That was the biggest issue we came across. So whoever onboards the first user, if they then go use another part of the ecosystem services, that's our customer. That was kind of the thought process. So we're like, okay, we need to flip that on its head.
Yes.
No one owns the customer. The customer owns the customer, and they decide who they want to share their information with. And that's why we went to blockchain initially.
Gotcha.
Was around that. It was giving consumers complete control. The first hire that Aaron McDonald made at Centrality was a UX designer, and it was all about building something that was consumer friendly. We're all about the consumer.
Right. Okay.
And if you really want to be customer first,
yeah.
I hear lots of corporates talking about let's be customer first. Yeah. Well, give them control of it. ID and data. Don't give them access to it via username and password. Give them actual control. Give them the freedom to take their data to your competitor.
Yeah.
Make it that easy. But obviously provide services so they don't want to.
You're only going to be a Netflix subscriber if they entertain you, but you can move anytime. Your attention is your own, and you can put your attention somewhere else.
That's it.
You own it. So same sort of concept here, I guess, where you
own number
your
portability.
data.
It's not dissimilar to number portability.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've got an 022 number or an 021 number.
Well, 021 Jerome, if anyone wants to call. So
yep. So Jerome wants someone to talk to this afternoon. 021 Jerome.
That's it. Right.
There you go. But you could be with 2 Degrees, Vodafone. I've got a mortgage with ASB for example. I don't, but if I did, I don't like them because I read somewhere that the CEO did whatever, and I'm going to make a stand. I now can easily just tell my bot to sort it out for me.
Correct.
That's what we're going into pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, or other bots. ASB's bot or Westpac's bot could talk with your bot in an anonymous, transparent way as a hash. And it could say, hey, look, if you've given your bot access to share anonymous information about you, we think we could save you this amount if you moved over to us.
Yeah.
If Darcy would like to learn more, can you ask him for permission for us to engage with him? And then your bot would say to you, hey, I've just had Westpac's bot talk to me. They've got this new deal that based on the information that we've been able to exchange under your approval, it would suggest that there's potential to save this amount should you change. Would you like to talk to one of their people about that?
Perfect.
Yes. And away you go.
It's subtle, but when you dig into that, it's not just making that. That's not just a story about a really cool UX. That's actually a story of you owning every imprint of yourself.
Yep.
And if people want to serve you and put you first as a customer, that's actually what that really means, isn't it?
It is. So we've been doing some stuff with large corporates in Japan. And one thing I didn't necessarily realize at the time was corporates have been acquiring personally identifiable information, user data, for a really long time, thinking that they would be able to make better decisions from that data.
Right.
The reality is, maybe the exception of Netflix and a few others, most corporates haven't actually done anything profound with people's data. If nothing else, they've had a whole lot of cost and compliance and risk in acquiring and storing that data.
Okay.
When you give people back control of that data, then the individual has that lock and key, not the corporate. The individual then is responsible for protecting their information. That then shifts the risk and liability away from the corporate to the individual.
This is good for business.
It is good for business. And the cool thing about this whole blockchain is particularly under open blockchains, is you can access the metadata. So you can see every transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yes.
And the value for corporates isn't knowing that Darcy and Jerome did a transaction. But it's in the metadata, the time of the transaction, maybe some of the other stuff associated with it.
Right.
And they can base their decisions off that.
Right.
And then if they want to know what my experience was like, they have the ability to engage with me and say, hey, we would like to engage with you.
Yeah.
Do you give us permission to do so? And here's an incentive. So it might be, tickets to the movie or whatever the case may be, or a discount. And I'll say, yeah, look, I'm happy to share my experience with you. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
And away we go.
That's awesome.
That's it.
You received some of the effect of that wealth that your data creates.
Exactly. So Yabble is a really good company sort of leading the space.
Yabble.
Everyone talks about business to consumer, business to business, business to consumer, B2B to C, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What no one's talked about until Yabble came along, that I'm aware of at least, was consumer to business. So they're a consumer to business, If you want to engage with consumers, put them first, let them share in the incentive and upside, and you'll have a more meaningful engagement with them.
Common sense.
Common sense is not that common.
No. You notice that too.